Good evening. It's indeed an honor to be with all of you. You're the good guys. Sometimes when I'm in Congress, I'm not with all the good guys. But you are, and it's my honor to recognize two of the great people in the world who have contributed to democracy and the hope of a free and democratic Russia. Vladimir Kara-Murza and his bride, Evgenia. Vladimir and Evgenia add to the distinguished alumni who have received this award, from John McCain to Madeleine Albright to the Dalai Lama and those others who have received the award today. Vladimir's life has been a testament to struggle, to sacrifice, and to courage. And he shared that with Evgenia, who has learned from him and taken up his cause. As most of you know, Vladimir is imprisoned in Russia. He's been sentenced to 25 years, and he's been in solitary confinement for the last 260-something days. I got to know him through my work on the Helsinki Commission, and we got to be friends, and we talked about Russia, and we talked about freedom, and we talked about democracy. He came to me one day, and he said, I think there should be a special representative of the OSCE on political prisoners. What do you think? I said, well, I think that's a good idea. And he said, no, I think it ought to be you. And I think you ought to talk to the president of the OSCE about your appointment. Well, I thanked him for that. It was an honor, and I called her, and she was receptive to the idea of having a special representative, and I guess eventually she was receptive to the idea of me being that special representative, because I am. But I thought about it later, and I knew Vladimir knew that in his return to Russia, he would be a political prisoner. And I carry out my responsibility to tell the world about Vladimir Kara-Murza and what Russia has done to his life and what they've done to the lives of so many Russians. Vladimir twice had been poisoned. He was Boris Nemtsov's right hand and worked as a correspondent with the Washington Post and writing articles about Russia. Worked with Bill Browder on the Magnitsky laws to try to see that there were sanctions against the folks that oppressed people in Russia, particularly Magnitsky. And he'd twice been poisoned and almost killed on each occasion by Russian operatives. And when I heard he was going to go back to Russia, I said, Vladimir, please don't go. You can't do that. He said, I must go because I'm a Russian politician and I want to see a free and democratic Russia, and I can't do it from without. I must be within. I must be with my people. I asked Evgenia about it. I said, did you try to stop him? She said, no, I know my husband. I know what he was going to do. And Khodorkovsky did the same thing. There was no stopping Vladimir. So when he went back to Russia, he was arrested for having spoken at a university in Arizona, not about the special military operation, but about the war in Ukraine. And that's an unforgivable sin, to recognize it as a war and not a special military operation. And he went back, and the police came one day, and they charged him with some ridiculous offense, and they charged him, and they charged him, and they charged him, and so he's now looking at 25 years. He is the face of Russian political courage that has gone for many, many years, of great people who have stood up to repression to try to get freedom and democracy for the Russian state. He and Evgenia deserve this award because they have stood up against the most imposing forces, Vladimir Putin, who is responsible for the kidnapping of so many Ukrainian children and the genocide in Ukraine. He has met all of the criteria for a genocide, and he has made Russia a terrorist country, and we need to recognize that. So, as Evgenia has taken up the cause to be the lead advocate for political prisoners of Putin's regime, the Russian Human Rights Organization Memorial estimates there are 700 political prisoners. She's been phenomenal at continuing Vladimir's important work. I greatly admire her bravery and strength as well as his. I congratulate each of them tonight, And we will continue to call for Vladimir's release and continue to support their courageous work, and we recognize them with this award this evening. And I hope you'll do this. Vladimir told me something else. He said, the worst thing that can happen to a political prisoner is to be forgotten. So please, you all have voices, strong voices, social media, and other ways to get messages out. Let the world know about the efforts of Vladimir Kara-Murza, his bravery, his courage, and what he's doing to stand up for democracy in Russia and around the world. Thank you. Thank you very much.